Good evening, Belize. What drops out of the sky with $11 million in cocaine? And why was it stopped now? A high-stakes drug plane interception raises new questions tonight. Meanwhile, why are Belizeans suddenly being told they may need prescriptions for medications they've long accessed freely? Critics call it arbitrary and troubling. 3 days on, there are still no answers in the murder of Jahil Wesby, and tonight, his closest friend remains missing in Belize City. On Caye Caulker, residents flood the streets demanding answers as land set aside for a police station faces a possible sale. And bus operators are sounding the alarm, warning Belize's public transportation system could be on the brink of collapse. These stories and more right now. News 5 starts now.
Change is taking shape every day. It all starts with game changers. Investing in modern transport, better health infrastructure, renewable power for all, digital transformation, and more opportunities for a brighter future, the European Union's Global Gateway Initiative is unlocking new potential. Game changers are bringing this to life. Game changers, empowering the future. Follow the EU in Belize to meet the game changers.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Monday, April 13th. I am Sabrina Daly. A suspected drug plane carrying more than 1,000 pounds of cocaine never stood a chance, thanks to a swift, coordinated operation that stretched from international airspace straight into northern Belize. It all started Friday morning when U.S. authorities spotted an unidentified aircraft over the Pacific near Costa Rica. Within minutes, Belize's joint law enforcement teams were activated, deploying across the country in what officials say was a critical split-second decision. That rapid response led investigators to Newland Community, where an SUV packed with aviation fuel raised red flags and set the stage for a major takedown. Tonight, we're learning new details about the interception, the arrests of a Mexican pilot and his co-pilot, and how close this operation came to slipping away. We begin with the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, who explains how it all unfolded.
At approximately 1:50 p.m., a custom enforcement team operating in Newland Village, Corozal District, encountered a SUV parked near the coastline. The vehicle was occupied by 2 Belizean nationals and 1 Mexican national, and inside the vehicle, officers discovered 9 canisters of suspected aviation fuel, a firearm, and a satellite phone. These were clear indicators that the Newland Village was the intended landing site of the aircraft. Over the next few hours, the aircraft moved northwards, changing direction multiple times towards El Salvador, then Nicaragua, and then Honduras. By 2:40 p.m., the aircraft was estimated to be just over 1 hour from entering Belize airspace. By this time, the operational focus had already been mobilized and strategically deployed in Newland. At 5:03 p.m., airspace clearance was granted and the Belize Defense Force deployed their air asset. At 5:10 p.m., the Mexican air asset were also granted permission to enter Belize airspace to support our operation. At 5:21 p.m., Belize primary radar confirmed contact with the suspected aircraft approximately 6 nautical miles east of Carmelita village, heading northeast. At 6:14 p.m., the aircraft landed in Newland village. Observed deplaning were 2 Hispanic male persons, later identified as Paul Valenzuela Usana and Edgar Aguilar Trinidad, both Mexican national.
The cocaine seized is worth an estimated $11 million, and the 2 Mexican nationals aboard the aircraft weren't traveling light, carrying thousands in U.S. and Mexican currency. Both men are now formally charged with drug importation and immigration offenses and remain in custody. But as the legal process moves forward, attention has shifted to one burning mystery on the ground: the SUV found with aviation fuel canisters destroyed by fire. Rumors have swirled about how that vehicle went up in flames, prompting a firm response from police leadership. Commissioner of Police Richard Rosado is now pushing back, rejecting claims that officers deliberately set the SUV ablaze. Tonight, we take a closer look at what police say really happened and why that burned vehicle has become a flashpoint in an otherwise successful operation.
As it relates to the narrative that it was law enforcement that burnt the SUV that contained the suspected aviation, that is not so. As I have indicated, it was custom enforcement team that made the interception, and given the circumstances that was at hand at the time, which I will not get into the specifics, it was prudent for the custom officers to withdraw. The important thing is that the interaction was well documented. The vehicle was processed by the scenes of crime personnel and will be further processed by the fire department.
Indeed, it would have been ideal to have all of those items, but we are of the view that notwithstanding that the items in terms of the aviation fluid was destroyed, it will not detract from us being able to put forward some evidential material in the intended prosecution. Commissioner indicated that the burning did not occur by law enforcement officials, Mr. Lopez. The situation at hand, which we will not get into the specifics of, it was prudent for the team of custom officers to withdraw. It was when they withdrew that we suppose the burning was conducted. However, as I stated, notwithstanding this, we have ensured that we have retrieved items of evidential value that will be of assistance to the intended prosecution of the matter.
Indeed, the custom officers were the first one when the vehicle was discovered. Certain things happened on the ground that required them to retreat. They then retreat, and we send additional support from the security forces. When they returned, the vehicle was on fire. I need to add that based on the availability of evidence and the directive of the Director of Public Prosecution, there was insufficient evidence to charge a 2 Belizean national. However, they remain persons of interest, and the investigation continues.
As we told you earlier, officials are calling this one of the most successful joint law enforcement operations in recent, and today they brought the receipts. Top leaders from across Belize's security agencies came together at a press conference to walk us through how this high-stakes mission unfolded. Commissioner of Police Richard Rosado revealed new details about the challenges the pilots faced, including problems coordinating with contracts on the ground. And it wasn't just police. Both the Belize Defense Force commander and the Coast Guard commandant outlined the critical roles their team played in bringing this massive operation to a successful end.
There were certain communication devices that I believe did not allow the pilots to communicate to the individual on the ground. And I will leave it as that.
Was it though a forced landing, or was it the landing they expected to make? Or were you like out of options?
From all indication and from all evidential material that we have obtained, that location was the intended place for the aircraft to have landed.
When we took custody of the aircraft, after a brief examination by Belize Defense Force Air Wing technicians, we have determined that the aircraft was rigged specifically for one, transporting cargo, and two, for having extra fuel capacity. So it wasn't just like a standard Cessna aircraft. So it was rigged specifically for having extra fuel capacity. And to answer the last part of your question, yes, there is still extra fuel within the aircraft as of the point where we examined it. So the aircraft still had enough fuel to probably fly somewhere else if it chose to when it landed.
This was a multi-domain approach to this intercept, both as relates to land, air, and sea. As the Coast Guard, we provided the maritime component to this operation. As the Commissioner alluded to, this is an area that is in close proximity to our coastline. It's an area that we are familiar with, and so we were able to respond quickly when called upon for support by the police department.
There's more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Season is shaping up to have a monster finish, and this weekend it's the rematch revenge weekend on Friday night in Orange Walk at the Sporting Complex. The red hot Belize City Defenders is coming for revenge against the bad boys from the north, the Orange Walk Running Rebels. After that beatdown on opening night, then on Saturday night, the Corozal Spartans seek revenge against the Belmopan Trojans and get their first win at the Anjo Campos Stadium. And in Caye, the Caye Gunners, the Western Ballers, awaits the #1 team in the league, the San Pedro Tiger Sharks, in an all-out war as they seek revenge from their opening night loss at the Victor Galvez Stadium. Giveaways at all games, the NEBL Girls hosted by DJ Dollar, and the National Sports Council $5,000 halftime shooting challenge. So this weekend, make it an NEBL rematch revenge weekend, sponsored by the government of Belize.
I didn't know anything about honey or bees. I was really awed when I opened the hive box and I saw there was just not bees. There is wax, there is propolis, there is pollen, there is the entire education of what is going on inside the hive. And I was like, how come nobody in Belize have ever done this before?
The farm produces 75% of what we consume. We were introduced to instant coffee, so we are growing our own food, but we're drinking instant coffee. So I said it's time to introduce our own coffee as part of our food security.
My brother, he used to work at a butterfly farm, and he was in charge of breeding them. One day, when he was in the butterfly cage, he saw that they die naturally and they still look beautiful. And that is when he got the idea to make the butterfly art collages.
I used to do cakes from home. I started just giving them away, but I needed to buy my stuff back and I started selling them. So that's what started it, and I used Facebook as my means of advertisement and started getting customers.
I've always been fascinated with gemstones. It's been something that I've been collecting for more than a decade. It's just the fascination of how they come out from the earth, just different minerals and elements that combine. They just form these beautiful colors, and it's so fascinating.
Nokche Adventure Park came about on the birth of COVID. Everything was shut down in the tourism industry, and we decided, I want to do something to help the community. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours at that time. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing.
The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. My husband is a woodworker. He attended the meeting. He was given a space here, and that's how basically I got involved in the business.
To me, Atlantic Bank was the best partner for us to team up with.
Having access to financing, change our business in productivity.
Once I had Atlantic Bank support with the finances, it was smooth sailing from there.
They saw the vision and they were willing to be patient.
Atlantic Bank's e-commerce system has accelerated the growth for my business.
Now I can make payments and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
I don't have to run to town and use fuel and the other expenses.
They were willing to be patient with us as we grew our business, and that meant the world.
I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Present an event you can't afford to miss.
It's the Belize Music World Festival, Saturday, April 25th, 2026.
At the spacious Marion Jones Stadium. This annual event is geared to give you the very best in music, food, and artistry.
The Belize Music World Festival.
Headlines with two of Reggae World's very best performers. The one and only Mr. Siggy himself.
Taurus Riley.
With the very first time in Belize, Reggae Prince of Reggae Royal Family,
Skip Marley.
With his band. And also featuring on this momentous event is Pen Cayetano with his band. And Jay Cass with his band. Yes, Belize, it's a full-on band show. Also backing up this show is DJ Jago, DJ Console, DJ Cad, DJ Smurf, and Clark, and Rasen Jaro. Firestarter Sound. It's all hosted by DJ Dollar. So mark the date and don't be late. April 25th. Gates open at 7 for showtime at 8 at the Marion Jones Stadium. Ticket prices on bleachers $41. General admission $61. VIP $151. For Ultra Boost $2,500. Also available cocktail tables for VIP area only. Sponsors are A Town Called Freedom, Mars Production, Monisco, Pelican, Travelers Liquor, BTB, Niche, Channel 5, Channel 7, Love FM, and Love TV, Trim Radio and TV, and Cellular World.
What used to be a quick stop at the pharmacy is now sparking a nationwide conversation. As the Ministry of Health and Wellness cracks down on prescription-only medications, Belizeans are pushing back, asking why drugs they've bought for years without a doctor's note suddenly require one. Officials insist the rules aren't new, but this tougher enforcement is raising fresh concerns about affordability, access, and gaps in healthcare. With public pressure mounting, the ministry is rethinking its approach. Shane Williams takes a closer look at what's driving the backlash and what it could mean for patients.
A move the Ministry of Health and Wellness says was about protecting patients has instead ignited a countrywide debate. By suddenly enforcing long-standing rules that require prescriptions for medication Belizeans have long bought over the counter, including contraceptives and drugs for chronic illnesses, the ministry caught many by surprise. The public outcry was swift, with women, young people, and patients managing long-term conditions warning that the rule could shut them out of care. Now, under growing pressure, the ministry is hitting pause and rethinking its next steps.
Now, when it comes to refills, I think, as I mentioned before, and I want to mention it again, the refills can be given by your doctor. Your nurses, sometimes they have it there in the office that they would give you 3 months of the contraceptives that you're on, provided that you're well, all your concerns have been addressed, and you don't have any issues with the contraceptive that you're on. So it's important that to stress, you do not have to go to your doctor every month to get your prescription.
Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, Director of Health Services, says doctors can write prescriptions that last several months, reducing the strain on patients.
I would like to also mention that we will do a phased-in approach for general prescription meds, and we're going to give a 12-month phase-in so that we have the opportunity to do the full patient information campaign and to meet with the pharmacists as well and to get buy-in from all parties that are involved in ensuring that patients can have access to care.
Still, advocacy groups warn that adding barriers to birth control could have serious consequences as the country already struggles with adolescent pregnancy. The latest multiple indicator cluster survey data shows a national adolescent birth rate of 58 births per 1,000 girls aged 15 to 19. And 13.4% of young women give birth before age 18. Health advocates warn that adding barriers to contraception could make access even more difficult for teenagers, potentially driving those numbers higher instead of lowering them.
My reaction, and it's also an appeal to the decision makers, to let's rethink this. Because I look back now at the last census or the last survey that was done to look at the unmet needs or family planning unmet needs was at 15%, and I can see that just increasing especially when compared to other Caribbean countries and to Central America.
Medical professionals are also pushing back on what they call exaggerated fears about birth control. Gynecologist Dr. Marcella Caye took to Facebook today, saying that more than 90% of women can use contraceptives without any major risk. While some risk exists for women with certain health conditions, he's urging a phased rollout of prescription rules paired with strong public education, an approach the Ministry of Health and Wellness now appears to support.
I can say here that 1, we were not aware of the amount of people who go into a pharmacy and purchase prescription medications without a prescription. And 2, we did not conduct the number of consultations that we should have to sensitize and to inform the public of the differences between the over-the-counter medication and the importance of getting a prescription for prescription-only medication. A large-scale public health campaign should have been conducted simultaneously with the discussions that we had with store owners and the Pharmacy Association. And this is acknowledged here today.
The ministry's proposed 12-month phase-in was supposed to buy time for public education and talks with pharmacists and other key players. But another flashpoint is now still in the spotlight: enforcement of a rule that bans children under 12 from buying medication. In many Belizean homes, that job often falls to grandchildren picking up medicine for elderly relatives who can't easily get to the pharmacy. Critics worry that the rule could unintentionally punish families just trying to get by. Officials insist the regulations aren't new, but concede that how they enforce them could make all the difference. Shane Williams reporting for News 5.
The National Trade Union Congress of Belize is also strongly rejecting any move that would require women to get a doctor's prescription just to access birth control. The NTUCB calls the idea outdated and dangerous, warning it would roll back women's rights by decades and create new barriers to basic health care. They argue Belize's already thinly stretched health system can't handle the added strain, and that working women would pay the price in time, money, and dignity. After a month focused on women's rights and progress, the union says this proposal sends the country in the wrong direction, and they're urging policymakers to scrap it. 3 days after a body of 18-year-old Jahil Westby was found in Port Loyola, police are now sharing an update on the investigation. Officers say Westby suffered gunshot injuries, triggering an intensive probe that remains active tonight. So far, no arrests have been made, and investigators are once again urging anyone with information to step forward as they work to piece together what happened.
The investigation commenced on Friday, 10 April at around 6:45 a.m. when a relative of Westby visited the police booth that is located on Central American Boulevard and advised the officers that Westby did not return home over the course of the night, and the last time he was seen was sometime around 3:00 p.m. on Thursday. She further advised that he was in the company of a friend, namely Alwyn Marin. The police officers were also told that he was supposed to be going into the dike area to hunt for iguanas. As a consequence of this, the officers conducted a search in the dike area, and sometime after 8:00 a.m., the unresponsive body of Westby was found and apparent gunshot wounds were observed on his body. The investigation into this incident, as well as the disappearance of Alwyn Marin, continues.
Tonight, a Belize City family is trapped in every parent's worst fare, waiting, hoping, and searching. 17-year-old Alwyn Marin has been missing since Thursday after going fishing with a friend who police later found murdered. As investigators work to piece together what happened to 18-year-old Jahil Westby, Marin's mother says she believes her son's disappearance is no accident and may be tied to a dispute over a horse. News 5's Paul Lopez has the details.
Tonight, one family is mourning and another is living in agonizing limbo. 17-year-old Alwyn Marin hasn't been seen since Thursday, and the last person he was with is now dead. Marin and his friend, 18-year-old Jahil Westby, left their homes along Jane Usher Boulevard to go fishing in a remote area behind dikes at the Port of Belize. Neither teen returned home that day. By Friday morning, the search turned grim. Westby's body was found with gunshot wounds, confirming the worst fears of his loved ones. But for Alwyn Marin's family, the nightmare is still unfolding. Tonight, his whereabouts remain unknown, and his mother is anxiously pleading for answers as the hours stretch into days. As police continue their investigation into Westby's killing, a community waits and a mother hopes for word on what happened to her son.
My son don't have no problem in nobody, but people have problem in my son. And I believe somebody who they in at this, it have to be somebody close to my son, who my son trusts.
Cardenas believes that at the center of her son's disappearance and Westby's murder is a dispute over a horse.
The young man, they wait my son Maricana with the horse. My son gonna pick up a horse down that side by Maria shop. What brown horse the young boy we have problem with, I believe he with this with my son murder. And I need justice, and I really need to find my son. Whosoever they hide or they hide behind with this, they need to come out and try help me. Because this not work at all. I know they don't know how I feel.
Horses are becoming a common sight across Belize City, and so are the problems that comes with them. Residents are calling for tighter controls as the animals continue to show up in abuse cases and neighborhood disputes. Viewers will remember the disturbing attack on a horse named Wani in Port Loyola, where young men targeted the animal because it belonged to a rival group. Tonight, a horse is once again at the center of a police investigation.
I know several searches have been conducted across the city. However, as I stated, they have proved fruitless.
What does police know about reports suggesting that Mr. Westby's death and Mr. Marin's disappearance has something to do with a feud over horses or a horse?
I had a very brief conversation with the investigators, and they indeed advised me that that is one of the angles that is being explored.
The Marin family conducted searches over the weekend in the area where he went fishing but came up empty-handed. They are now calling for additional law enforcement support to aid their efforts.
I believe something bad happened because my son, the boy, he just go and he just come back. He don't know person just go and stay long like that. So I know that something wrong really happened to him. Sometimes in our life, sometimes you just do your own thing. Your friends and where you trust. Yes, where you trust, where you think that you're a friend, and you're a friend. Because sometimes people just get close to you, forget where they want to find you. After that is over. I believe that half our house, and they have a heart talking with my son. That's why my son passed. That's why my son get shot or whatever. Cause by half our house, a brown house, who say I have talking with both this house, that the person they have to search for. Without me, my son not there. My son never me there. So without my son, I no arrest. I need to find my son where I could put my son to rest.
As the search continues for Alwyn Marin, his family is calling on police and the public to help bring closure to a case that has left the community shaken. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
There's much more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Belize is leveling up. We're moving from a bunch of IDs in endless forms to one secure, smart way to prove who you are. The National ID will give you your own unique number, a protected population register, and faster verification, so things actually get done quicker. It's built with privacy, transparency, and inclusion because this system is for everyone. Have something to say? Join the public consultation.
The growing frequency and intensity of fires each year pose serious threat to human well-being, forest health, and biodiversity. This surge in wildlife fires is closely linked to climate change and human activities. As global temperatures rise, the risk of extreme weather intensifies. Warmer temperatures, prolonged droughts, and unmanaged lands and fuel create the perfect environment for wildfires to ignite and rapidly spread. Many forest fires are started by human actions. Careless campfires, discarded cigarettes, and even arson. It's not just about the climate. Our actions play a significant role in the fires that devastate these beautiful landscapes. Uncontrolled fires have far-reaching consequences that cannot be ignored. The impact of these fires goes beyond the flames. Smoke from wildfires can travel hundreds of miles, leading to poor air quality and serious health issues, especially for vulnerable populations. Exposure to wildlife smoke can exacerbate respiratory problems, increase heart disease risk, and harm overall public health. Simple actions like safely extinguishing campfires, properly disposing of smoking materials, and following local fire regulations can make a big difference. Effective fire management is crucial. By practicing controlled burns, fire breaks, maintaining healthy forests, and following safety guidelines, we can help prevent catastrophic fires and protect our environment and health. Join the Maya Forest Corridor Fire Working Group and help us us manage fires responsibly. Stay informed about fire regulations. Support local fire prevention programs. And take steps to reduce your carbon footprint. Together, we can build safer communities and a healthier planet. Remember, good fire management starts with all of us. Do your part to protect people and our natural resources.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
All right, you're all set. I'll swap out the water inlet valve and everything is running normally.
Amazing. So what will be the cost?
Oh, for you? There's no cost.
No cost? I'm flattered, but I'm actually married.
Oh no, nothing like that. It's actually part of our 1-year warranty policy.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Really?
No.
Belize's only full-service GE USA dealer. Full service, full warranty, full selection. GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Walk, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal. It's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Even with heightened police presence following last week's massive drug bust, violence struck again in the Ladyville area. A 28-year-old man is fighting for his life after an ambush shooting Saturday evening. Police say Lionel Logan was walking along an off-road near Perez Road when a gunman opened fire, hitting him once in the stomach. The motive remains unclear tonight, but investigators have already detained one suspect and are urgently searching for another. 30-year-old Akeem Ferguson is now facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. Here's Assistant Superintendent Stacy Smith with what police know so far and what they're still trying to piece together.
The investigation commenced on Saturday, 11 April 2026 at approximately 9:05 p.m. when officers attached to the Ladyville formation were alerted to the sounds of shots being fired in the vicinity of Paris Road in that village. The officers responded where they met an injured Lionel Logan who suffered an apparent gunshot injury. What we have learned so far is that Logan was walking in an off-road area near Paris Road when he was accosted by two male persons, one of whom brandished a firearm and fired a shot which wounded him. Logan is hospitalized in a critical condition, and police have since detained one male person and are seeking another in connection with the ongoing investigation. No motive has been established thus far in this incident.
It began as an attempt to break up a fight outside a nightclub, but a transport officer is now on the wrong side of the law. Police have arrested and charged 33-year-old transport officer Ignatius Parafit with aggravated assault after an early morning confrontation in the parking lot of a nightclub on Newtown Barracks. Investigators say the incident escalated when a businessman stepped in to stop a fight between two women and was then confronted by Parafit, who allegedly drew and cocked a firearm. Officers already on the scene quickly moved in, detaining him on the spot. The case is now putting the spotlight on judgment and accountability and how traffic officers carry themselves when they're off duty and out in public.
He was charged with aggravated assault for a firearm, and thankfully the virtual complainant in the matter, he pled not guilty to it, and the virtual complainant in the matter had indicated that in the first instance that he was not interested in pursuing any criminal charges against him. However, he did make a statement for reference. However, the officers exercising their discretion still exercise their discretion to charge him with assault with a firearm. So he appeared before the magistrate this morning, who indicated that she required for both the virtual complainant to come in and as well to get a further statement. We got both of those by this afternoon, and so the magistrate dismissed the matter against him.
Last week, we told you about a major marijuana bust in Lord's Bank worth more than $1.7 million. Today, we went back to police looking for answers, including who owns the property where the drugs were found. While investigators say the case remains active, they're not ready to share that detail just yet. Assistant Superintendent Stacy Smith tells us why police are holding back and where the investigation stands tonight.
Nothing further, as in addition to what I stated on the last occasion. It is an ongoing investigation. I admit that the circumstances are not as ideal. However, it is an investigation that started in earnest. We have made headways in terms of narrowing persons, and we are in the process of putting the necessary evidential material together, as well as communicating and liaising with the Financial Intelligence Unit because of the scale of the operation which intelligence has suggested is being conducted.
Who does the property belong to?
The information that we have disclosed is the extent to which we wish to disclose.
Last week's drug bust in Lord's Bank Village was largely attributed to the work of the department's K9 unit. Today, ASP Stacy Smith further highlighted the unit's work and spoke briefly about the training the K9s and their handlers continuously undergo.
The K9 unit is a very integral part of the unit of the department's weaponry, the department's artillery when it comes to fighting crime. We have been training the officers that are attached to the unit, and we continue to train the K9s themselves to be able to assist. Yes, indeed, last week's seizure in Lord's Bank was certainly of great, the K9 was of great use to that operation.
Police made 2 separate arrests for suspected crack cocaine in southern Belize and in Belize City. According to ASP Stacy Smith, a man was charged for possession after police responded to a domestic dispute. In Belize City, a search for guns and ammunition at a residence led to the discovery of suspected crack cocaine.
Police have formally arrested and charged 31-year-old Adam Pop for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. The arrest of Pop follows police's response to a domestic disturbance in Bayah Vista Village on 12 April at around 11 o'clock a.m. Upon police's arrival, Pup attempted to flee. However, he was apprehended by the responding officers, and a search of his person led to the discovery of several small parcels of foil paper containing suspected crack cocaine, which, when weighed, amounted to 2.35 grams. Police have formally arrested and charged 59-year-old Lydia Castillo of Belize City for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. The arrest of Castillo follows police operations at a residence on Hyde Street in Belize City on Saturday, 11 April at approximately 10 o'clock a.m. The arresting officer reported that he and a team of officers went to the residence to conduct a search for unlicensed firearm, and when that arresting officer made his way to the rear of the property to provide coverage, he observed Miss Castillo throwing several small parcels, which when opened, silver foil parcels, which when opened were observed to contain suspected crack cocaine. These parcels were weighed and they amounted to 1.9 grams. A further search of the yard led to an additional 8.8 grams of crack, which was deposited as found property.
We have more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, construction projects can receive insurance coverage from start to finish? We offer a variety of bonds. This includes bid bonds, advance payment bond, performance bonds, or others. Let Home Protector be a part of your team and help safeguard you through your next project. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
What's coming up tomorrow on Open Your Eyes. Feeling the pressure? To tackle this Stress Awareness Month, we'll have an expert on the couch sharing how you can move from burnout to balance and how to take control of your well-being. At the same time, the Ministry of Agriculture Belize is honoring excellence in Belizean culture, celebrating the hard-working farmers who keep this nation growing. Looking to level up your business? Georgia Donaldson is sharing powerful HR insights to help Belizean entrepreneurs thrive. And in beauty, Grace Skincare is making its mark by bringing confidence and glow to the spotlight. Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. on Open Your Eyes and start your morning right.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan.
we have exciting news for you. RFNG Life Insurance is now officially in your town. Now, you can visit our office to pay your life insurance premiums or speak to our dedicated agent, Mayeli, about securing your future with the right coverage.
Hi, my name is Mayeli Hoy, your designated agent here at RFNG Life in the Caye District. I'm here to help you explore your options, answer your questions, and find the perfect policy for you and your loved ones.
Whether you're looking for life insurance, critical illness coverage, or future saving plans, we've got you covered. Take the first step towards securing a stable and prosperous financial future for you and your family. RFNG Life Insurance, now in Cayo. Visit us today or call to schedule an appointment. Your future starts here.
A violent crash on the San Esteban Road has claimed a life and left a community shaken. A pickup truck and a motorcycle collided Sunday evening, turning the roadway into a scene of twisted metal and desperate efforts to help. Bystanders rushed in, but it was already too late for Zuriel Cruz. Tonight, investigators are working to determine what caused the deadly impact and who may be at fault. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacy Smith has the latest on what authorities know so far.
The investigation commenced on Sunday, 12 April 2026 at approximately 4:10 p.m. when Orange Walk police were advised of an RTA on the San Esteban Road. The officers responded, and upon their arrival, they observed an injured and unresponsive male person who was later learned to be Zuriel Cruz, 21 years of age. Also observed on the scene of the accident was a damaged motorcycle and a pickup truck, which also showed signs of damage. Cruz was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead sometime around 5:37 p.m. What the ongoing investigation has suggested is that Cruz was on board a motorcycle on the San Andres Road heading towards Orange Walk Town, and a pickup truck was traveling in the opposite direction. The suggestion is that the pickup truck made a left turn onto a dirt road, which caused a collision between the cycle and the pickup truck.
Tensions are boiling over tonight on Caye Caulker, where residents have taken to the streets to protest the possible sale of land long set aside for a police station. The demonstration comes just days after a heated town hall meeting. As fears grow over the future of Parcel 815, prime community land leaders say is vital for public safety, youth programs, and emergency response. The Village Council is now drawing a firm line, rejecting any move to sell the property without public consultation. Today, protesters were joined by Senator Gabriel Zatina, who tells us what a little search revealed and why residents say this fight goes beyond a parcel of land. It's about the future of the island.
What the title search yielded was that the government of Belize transferred that property in February 14, 2023, which same day the property they were issued a land certificate. That same day, the 14th of February 2023. Now, of course, the Village Council now, they were told to stop working, so the workers weren't able to continue. And I saw that for myself. There was some piles in, some piles are missing. So I saw that today. And so we don't know whether the land indeed was sold. Many out there said that the land indeed was sold, allegedly to the water taxi. But so far, it's nothing official. Not from the minister. I know a couple of people have reached out to him, the area representative, Andrew Perez, and also to the minister responsible, which is the Minister for Home Affairs. But everyone seems to be tight-lipped on this. One of the questions I have is that if the government sought out to get a loan from Cabe to build this police station for Parcel 815, how do you go about now explaining that the police station won't be built there in that property, but elsewhere. To me, that's one of the big questions.
Well, fuel prices climbing by the day. Bus operators say they're running out of road and patience. The Belize Bus Association is firing back after Cabinet rejected its call for government intervention to keep buses rolling. Transport Minister Zabanek confirmed on Friday that all three proposals were turned down, urging operators to wait while government continues to monitor the situation. But today, Association President Philip Jones told News 5 waiting is no longer an option. He says many operators are at the breaking point and warns most won't survive past this week without help. Now the BBA is asking for a direct sit-down with Prime Minister John Briceño, hoping urgent talks can keep public transportation moving.
The members are greatly disappointed due to the fact that at this present moment they're taking a colossal loss in operational costs due to the high cost of fuel, and due to that fact, I had spoken to the Secretary the same Friday to have an emergency meeting with the Minister of Transport, and he have not gotten back to me as yet. Majority of the members, if not all, indicated to me that even this week, a couple of days in this week may be a challenge for them to continue to provide the service. I've spoken to some of the members this morning, and we are planning to write the PM so we can have a meeting with him and the bus operators, because the operator want to meet the Prime Minister personally now, because they are at the belief that the Minister of Bus Transport doesn't want to help them in any way, because they feel like they're being pressured for not joining the NBC. For us to provide the service, we need some sort of immediate assistance. And there are a couple of ways the ministry or the government can help in that. Of course, we heard the press release and the response from the minister that there's a no for the GST, or there's a no for the price increase at this time. So we need something for the interim to offset these high costs we are facing with fuels.
A routine game of bingo has turned into a life-changing moment for one resident of southern Belize. After matching the winning numbers, he walked away with the mega bingo jackpot, $370,000. Once taxes are taken out, he's still set to pocket about $315,000. Today, he tells us how he realized he'd won and what he plans to do with the money.
Basically, you could say I start by mega bingo like from the game actually start, but I went on a long pause, start up back again, and ever since just keep on buying the same ticket. Never did change it. Not every game I buy the ticket, but when I do member, it's mega bingo today, then I buy the ticket. The game start playing, then it's like I'm noticing like the small prizes them, I'm like missing them by one. I was like, okay. Then like I can't remember the last three numbers if I'm not mistaken. I think they're like G47, and then we have like 3 to 4 more ball before the 49th ball if I'm not mistaken, like I said. Then I was like, one more number left. Then for my ticket, I was like, okay, this can't be bad luck. No, this can't be bad luck, you know. Then so like I said, all right. Then she said like 075. When I watched my ticket, I was like, boy, I got this thing, boy. I reach good timings now, cause then like I could help moms and the ones who look out for me then. And then the ones who don't look out for me could stay up at the state too. Like I said, this will be like a slow snail pace right now. You don't really want to make no hasty decision, because once I start touch money, I start do this and I know this money done.
After the break, the weekly sports review with Paul Lopez.
When the job calls, you need a truck that works as hard as you do. Strong, reliable, and built for the load. The Jack freight truck gets the job done. From the lumberyard to the worksite, power your business with confidence. I can count on Jack to get the job done right.
What happens when you step off the edge?
Too late to back out now. He said I'm ready. No, I'm not.
And land somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it breaks you open. Wild at root?
That is very bitter.
But sweet on the tongue. Where history calls out, and you answer with open arms. This isn't just a journey. It's across borders.
That was amazing!
Over the past 5 years, Digi has invested more than $17 million to revolutionize Belize's digital future. Our advanced 4G LTE network and expanded fiber infrastructure have empowered vital road arteries, connected the farthest valleys and fertile farmlands, linked the bustling cities to the remote keys, and brought cutting-edge connectivity to schools, businesses, healthcare centers, and tourist destinations, fueling economic growth, enhancing education, and strengthening communities across the nation. By choosing Digi, you're leading Belize's digital transformation, bridging distances, opening opportunities, and empowering every corner of our beautiful country. Connect with Digi. Empower Belize.
Every idea starts with a curious mind. You're the girls who will build the future.
And that's what Girls in Tech is all about, helping you learn, discover, and see what is possible.
Each of you, if you want, you can be the innovators of the future.
The long-term objectives is to amplify their minds and the opportunities.
Belize wakes up connected to opportunity. And across our country, the work to keep Belize connected continues. SMART continues expanding our network across the country, bringing stronger coverage to more communities. With recent service enhancements in areas at Blue Creek and Progresso, Belize City, Orange Rock, and more on the way. We're bringing education closer to home, empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, supporting industries that drive our economy, and keeping families connected wherever life takes them. With every expansion, we are investing in the infrastructure that moves Belize forward. Because connection isn't just about signal, it's about opportunity, progress, and the future we are building together. SMART, bringing people together.
Good evening, I am Paul Lopez with this week's installment of Sports Monday. Let's jump right into the highlights of this past weekend in sports with the 25th BEL Junior Cross Country Cycling Classic. A field of 30 junior male riders took off from the Succots Ferry out west on Sunday morning en route to Belize City. The group included 5 foreigners, 2 Mexicans, 2 Guatemalans, and 1 rider from the Cayman Island. Heading towards Black Monday, it was all G-Flow's Keith Enright Jr. and Team Misfits Stefan Pelaya out front leading the race. They were eventually caught. G-Flow's Ahmad Sherrington launched an attack around mile 35 and rode solo for more than a dozen miles with a significant 3-minute gap. A group of 4 riders caught Sherrington 12 miles before the finish line, and it was these 5 riders, 3 from G-Flow, Griga Cycling Jamal Tablada, and Cayman Islands Ryan Thompson that rode into Belize City together. On the final stretch inside Belize City, Sherrington led the pace. Towards the finish line, it's an all-out sprint. Enright picks up speed from behind, head down and then celebrates as he crossed the finish line in first place, followed by Thompson and Tablada to round off the top 3.
Coming on to the finish, I never had no faith in myself only, but I had the faith in my 2 teammates. I don't really a sprinter, so I just said, well, I know my teammate be up on my wheel, so I said, all right, I would just try to lead it out, so he could go around fast and eventually get the win. And we did end up to do that, but I said like he started lock up his legs, and I see the guy from Cayman come from the side, so my head I like, well, I can't make the guy from Cayman win, so I'm gonna just continue my sprint, and I end up to pass everybody. To be honest, I just feel shocked, I really don't understand how I did that just now.
The junior female cross country was also held on Sunday. The group rode from Roaring Creek to Belize City. 17-year-old Irene Baki dominated the race and told us that she was hoping for a greater challenge.
From far I run by myself in this entire race, and I kind of want it be a better race, but as last year I came in solo, so I wanted to come in solo again this year, and I wanted to win it back to back. So went for the win and win again and did a good time.
Baki also competed in the women's cross country 2 weeks ago. She is now preparing to travel for training in Paris. And from cycling, we bring you some football action from 2 separate leagues, the Belize District First Division and the Future Football League. In the First Division tournament, we bring you highlights from the match between Tooth Bay Football Club and Cesar Ridge Football Club. Folks, this one saw an early goal by Tooth Bay's Kevon Tablada. Under a minute, there is some confusion in front of the goal and Tablada was able to capitalize. Tooth Bay's second goal came off this corner kick 10 minutes later. Beautiful header into the net by Leon Jones. And with plenty of playtime left, Tooth Bay prevented their opponents from scoring throughout the rest of the match. The game ended with 2-0. In the Little League, Future FC defeated Ladyville 2-1. Separate Future FC and Ladyville teams faced off in the second match, and Future FC once again dominated, this time 4-0. And finally for tonight, it was yet another weekend packed with National Elite Basketball League action. On Friday night, the Belize City Defenders took on the Dangriga Dream Ballers inside the Civic Center. The match was even throughout the entire first half, but the Defenders broke away in the third quarter and never looked back. The Ballers had no response. The Defenders went on to win the match with 90 points to their opponents' 50 points. Saturday night featured a doubleheader. The San Pedro Tiger Sharks hosted the Orange Walk Running Rebels in Belize City. The results were close for this one. 79 for the Orange Walk Running Rebels and 81 for the Tiger Sharks, adding another victory for their 2026 stats. And then in San Ignacio, the Cayo Western Ballers hosted the Corozal Spartans. The Western Ballers won the match with 98 points, while the Spartans closed with 82 points. Well, folks, that's all we have for you in tonight's coverage of Sports Monday. Catch you in the next one.
And now we move to our viewer's voice. Our first story for the night was a drug plane intercepted in high-stakes Belize operation. Dwayne Perto commented, so police found the vehicle in this big drug bust and then abandoned the vehicle, their main evidence, then come back to find it on fire? That make sense. Our second story on one teen dead, another friend still missing in Belize City. Geo Dawson commented, nothing happened without someone knowing what happened. But the way things are right now in this little country of ours, people are dying. And our final comment on story, why now? Belizeans question sudden prescription enforcement. Colleen Steege commented, enforcement of this law will only adversely affect the poorest of the population. The women already have the most difficulty trying to support themselves and their children. Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the conversation. Keep your comments coming, and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.